to take a look at a few issues we have on the 2003 Harley. If I haven't already said it, it started as an Electric Glide Classic. It is a carbureted model. It's my understanding, I think for this year, for the touring bikes, at least for the Electric Glide, you could get them fuel injected or carbureted. This has got a carburetor. I got it a year ago. I just was able to figure out getting it titled and registered with the state. Had some issues with the guy that sold it to me getting a clear title, so we finally got that worked out a week or two ago. So I was able to take it out on a test drive. Again, I've had it for about a year, and it's mostly just kind of sat. I've moved and haven't really had a chance to ride. So probably some of the issues were pre-existing. Maybe a couple of them popped up since it was sitting. I just replaced the battery. It wasn't holding a charge, but then as I took it out for a test drive, I realized that the charging system isn't charging the battery, which is probably part of a good reason why the battery that was in it went bad. Is it just hasn't been getting a good charge in it, and at that point it wouldn't take a good charge. Also, we've got an air leak. This has got the some version of an air kit on it. I don't really know. The bike was built in 2014. I've seen a valve that says dirty air on it, but then I've got a build sheet that there was another chopper shop that is out of business now that says it's their kit. So I don't know if it was their kit, but then they used other people's parts, or whether that was just bad information or what. Regardless, it has an air leak in it, so as I was riding, it was losing ride height, and I got to track down the air leak there. I do have some new parts for it. We're going to try to address the stuff that's more necessary just to ride and get it to run properly. So the charging system, the air leak. I do need to change the fluids in it. I've got the new oil for the engine, the primary, and the transmission. Once we get that kind of knocked out, I don't care for the forward controls that are on this bike, so I've got floorboards for it that I plan to swap back on, and I've got some different style, more traditional style handlebars, which I can show you all that stuff when we get to it. So first things first today, I'm going to take the bags off. I'm going to start getting into the manual and looking at the testing procedure for why my charging system isn't working. All right, so we've got some progress made on the charging system. I'll just kind of give you kind of a halfway point of where we're at and what it took to get there. I looked up online, and I've got the Harley service manual over here, so I kind of used the combination of people's advice online and the owner's manual. And now that I've done the test, it's really not all that complicated, but I've never done charging system test on a Harley before, so it was a little bit to learn about. So basically, to take a step back, I did already replace the battery. It kind of had a battery, it wasn't holding a charge, plus it was a little too tall, so when the seat fits on, it was sitting slightly above the frame rails here. I didn't really care for that. I felt like the seat wasn't going down all the way. So even if I could have brought the battery back to life, I feel like replacing it with a slightly shorter and better fitting one is good. So we did take care of that and verified that even the new battery wasn't charging properly. So the main systems on a motorcycle, at least a Harley like this, are the alternator, which consists of the stator and rotor, which is inside the primary. And the other part is the voltage regulator, which is right here. So basically, there's not a whole lot of testing for the voltage regulator. So I focused on the stator first. And here's the plug. So as you're making your voltage here, it will come through the plug into the voltage regulator, get converted to a standard voltage to keep your battery charged, and then eventually make the way up to the battery. And that's kind of a super simple way to say it, but I think that gets the basic point across. So the testing mostly consists of putting a meter on those two pins and testing some outputs. So the biggest thing is these things can fail in a number of ways. So what I was able to figure out with a simple power probe here is that mine was shorted to ground. So let me see if I can kind of simulate what I did. So basically, you find your ground. I'm gonna imagine that I hooked that up there. And then with the bike on, you'll take your power probe and touch that probe to each one of those pins. And if the probe lights up, that means you're creating a circuit with your ground back to your battery. And that means that the stator has shorted to ground, which that's the test result that I got. The other way to do it is with a multimeter, but I was having trouble with that, getting a consistent reading. So I actually found online kind of a little trick is to do that with a power probe, and it worked really good. So I called a company, I think they're called Cycle Electric out of Ohio, and they're gonna, they recommended a kit that upgrades to a newer style. I think they call it 3-phase. It's got 3 pins instead of 2, which is what the newer style Harleys have. I don't know what year they switched. If the twin cams might have got those, and then the Milwaukee 8s do as well. At some point, they went to a better system. So the guy on the phone told me these older systems are kind of prone to not putting out like a good signal, not a good amperage or voltage. I'm not sure exactly in what way he explained it, but over time makes them more prone to wearing out and failing. So their newer upgrade kit to the more modern style is supposed to not only put out more and better power, but in a cleaner way, more consistent way to hopefully make everything last longer. So I've got one of those on order, and the only downside is an easy job would be just pulling the voltage regulator off and replacing it. Instead, now we're going to replace that, as well as we're going to have to get into the primary and replace the stator and the rotor. But the good news is we'll have a whole new charging system, and fingers crossed have trouble-free charging for many miles to come. So that's kind of where we're at. You can see I've also started to take, just for kind of access and just because it needs to be done anyway, I've got the forward control off of the shifter side. If you look at that plate right there, I believe that hole and that hole are original factory. They basically drilled some other holes to make that forward control mount work. It was okay. I don't love the fact that they had to drill that out to make that work, but at some point, if I ever do kind of tear this bike down or have the engine out, or just want to kind of do a little bit of a rebuild or overhaul on it, I can always fill those holes back in and make it like it never happened. But for now, it's modified. So I do have the stock floorboard mounts and some floorboards that I'm gonna get put on there. We're kind of halfway on this side. Got the pipes off. I'm gonna have to get the wire that runs from the voltage regulator under the frame kind of unzip tied, pulled out of that couple wires there, and get that ready to install a new one. So the pipes need to come off anyway, and in the process of getting this forward control off. So yeah, we're getting there on this project at least. So I'll check back in when I get my parts in, and we'll give you a little idea how it looks to put that back on.